My best friend stood up at my wedding rehearsal and announced to everyone that I was a gold digger. We were in the ballroom of the Ashford Estate, the most exclusive venue in Wilmington, where the chandeliers were original Venetian glass and the waitstaff wore white gloves. 200 chairs had been arranged in perfect rows. Flowers imported from Holland lined the aisle. I was supposed to walk down in exactly 24 hours. Everything was perfect, until Jessica Chin decided to destroy it. She rose from her seat in the front row, my maid of honor, my best friend since college, the woman I had trusted with every secret I had, and cleared her throat. Before we continue, I have something to say. The rehearsal coordinator looked confused. This wasn't in the script. Jessica, what are you doing? I whispered. She ignored me. Everyone here thinks Vivian is marrying Derek because she loves him. But I know the truth. She turned to face the assembled guests, Derek's family, my few friends, the wedding party. She's only marrying him for money. The room went silent. I felt the words land like a physical blow. That's not true, I started to say. Isn't it? Jessica's voice was cold, confident, the voice of someone who had rehearsed this moment. You told me yourself. Last month. You said, and I quote, "Derek's family money is the only reason this wedding is happening." I stared at her, trying to understand what was happening. I had never said those words. I had never even thought those words. But the damage was already done. Derek's mother, Eleanor Morrison, stood up from her seat with the righteous fury of a woman whose worst suspicions had been confirmed. I knew it. I told you, Derek. I told you she was after our money. Derek's father nodded grimly. His sister crossed her arms. His cousins whispered among themselves. And Derek, my fiancé, the man I was supposed to marry tomorrow, the man I had loved for 3 years, turned to look at me with an expression I had never seen before. Disgust. Is it true? Derek, no. I never said that. Jessica is lying. She's your best friend. Why would she lie? I don't know, but I swear. You swear what? That you're not marrying me for my family's money? That you actually love me? Yes, I do love you. Then why did you tell her that our money is the only reason this wedding is happening? I didn't tell her that. I never said those words, but I could see it in his eyes. He didn't believe me. None of them believed me. I looked around the room, at the faces of people who had smiled at me an hour ago, who had hugged me and wished me well, who had told me how excited they were for the wedding. Now they were looking at me like I was something they had scraped off their shoes. My name is Vivian Okafor. I am 31 years old. I was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, the daughter of Nigerian immigrants who built a successful investment banking firm from a 2-person operation into one of the most respected financial institutions in the Southeast. I am not a gold digger. I am an heiress. And in about an hour, Derek Morrison was going to find out exactly how wrong he was about everything. But first, I needed to understand why my best friend had just betrayed me. Let me tell you about Jessica Chin. We met freshman year at UNC Chapel Hill. She was my roommate, assigned randomly by the housing office, thrown together by the algorithm of university bureaucracy. We could have been strangers who tolerated each other for a year and then went our separate ways. Instead, we became inseparable. Jessica was everything I wasn't, outgoing where I was reserved, spontaneous where I was cautious, comfortable in social situations where I always felt slightly out of place. She drew me out of my shell, introduced me to people, helped me navigate the complicated social landscape of college. I thought she was my best friend. I thought she loved me. I was wrong about both. Looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. The way Jessica always seemed to need money, borrowing here, forgetting her wallet there, accumulating small debts she never quite repaid. The way she compared herself to me constantly, my grades, my internships, my family's success, always with a joke, always with a laugh, but always with an edge underneath. The way she inserted herself into every aspect of my life, my friendships, my relationships, my career decisions, until I couldn't imagine making any choice without her input. I had mistaken dependency for loyalty. I had mistaken possessiveness for love. And now, standing in a ballroom full of people who thought I was a gold digger, I was finally seeing clearly. Jessica hadn't just betrayed me. She had been planning this betrayal for a very long time. The question was, why now? Why at my wedding rehearsal? What did she hope to gain? I was about to find out. After Jessica's announcement, the rehearsal dissolved into chaos. Derek's family huddled together, shooting poisonous glances in my direction. My few friends looked uncomfortable, unsure whose side to take. The rehearsal coordinator fluttered around uselessly, trying to restore order to a situation that had spiraled far beyond her control. And Derek stood in the center of it all, his face a mask of betrayal and anger. "I can't believe this," he said. "I can't believe you lied to me." "I didn't lie to you. Jessica heard you say it. Your own best friend. Jessica is lying. I don't know why, but she's lying." "Why would she lie? What could she possibly gain from destroying your wedding?" I didn't have an answer, but I knew there was one. "Derek, please. Let's talk about this privately. Let's figure out what's really going on. What's really going on is that you're a gold digger and I almost married you." The words hit me like a slap. "You don't mean that." "I do. Mom was right about you from the beginning. She said you were too eager, too perfect, too willing to fit into our family. She said no one was that accommodating unless they wanted something." Eleanor Morrison appeared at Derek's side, her expression triumphant. "I tried to warn you, darling, but you were so in love with her. So blind. I should have listened. It's not too late. The wedding isn't until tomorrow. We can still cancel everything." Derek looked at me, looked through me really, like I was already gone. "Maybe we should." I felt something shift inside me. Not hurt, not desperation. Clarity. Derek had known me for 3 years. He had supposedly loved me. And in the span of 10 minutes, he had believed Jessica's lies over my truth. He hadn't even asked for proof. He hadn't even given me a chance to explain. He had simply accepted the narrative that confirmed his family's prejudices and prepared to throw me away. This was who he really was. This was who they all really were. And I was done performing for people who had already decided I was worthless. "You're right," I said quietly. Derek blinked. "What?" "You're right. Let's cancel the wedding." The room went even quieter than before. What? "You heard me. If you believe Jessica over me, if you're willing to throw away 3 years because of one accusation with no evidence, then you're not the man I thought you were. And I don't want to marry someone like that. Vivian, no. You made your choice. Now I'm making mine." I turned to face the assembled guests. "I'm sorry you all came out here for nothing. The wedding is canceled. Please enjoy the appetizers on your way out. They're already paid for." I gathered my purse and walked toward the exit. Behind me, I heard chaos erupting, Derek calling my name, Eleanor telling him to let me go, Jessica's voice raised in what sounded like protest. I didn't look back. I had a phone call to make. I stepped out of the ballroom and into the quiet corridor of the Ashford estate. My hands were steady as I pulled out my phone and dialed a number I knew by heart. Okafor Financial, CEO's office. "Hi, Margaret. It's Vivian. I need to speak to my father urgently." "Of course, Miss Okafor." One moment. A brief pause, then my father's voice. "Vivian? Is everything all right? I thought you'd be at the rehearsal." I was. "Something happened. I need you to do something for me. Anything." Derek Morrison. His family. "I need a full financial audit. I need to know every account, every investment, every asset they have. And I need it within the hour." A pause. "What happened?" "Jessica accused me of being a gold digger. In front of everyone. Derek believed her. The wedding is canceled." "I see." My father's voice had gone cold, the voice he used in boardrooms when someone had made a very serious mistake. "All of the team start immediately." "But Vivian, are you sure? Once we pull their financial records, once we start looking, we can't unlook." "I'm sure. Something is wrong here, Dad. Jessica didn't do this randomly. There's a reason she destroyed my wedding. I need to know what it is. I'll call you back within the hour." "Thank you." "And Vivian?" "Yes. I'm proud of you. For walking away. For not begging. For knowing your worth." I felt tears prick my eyes. "I learned it from you. You learned it from yourself. We just showed you where to look." He hung up. I stood in the corridor, breathing slowly, centering myself. In 1 hour, I would have answers. In 1 hour, Derek Morrison would learn that he had made the biggest mistake of his life. And Jessica Chin, whatever her game was, would learn that you don't betray a woman whose family runs one of the most powerful financial firms on the East Coast. The hour passed slowly. I sat in my car in the parking lot, watching through the windows as the rehearsal guests slowly filtered out. Some looked confused. Some looked angry. Some, the ones who had been on my side, looked concerned, glancing around as if searching for me. I didn't reveal myself. I wasn't ready to face anyone yet. My phone buzzed. My father. "What did you find?" "Something interesting." His voice was tight. "Derek Morrison's family isn't wealthy." "What?" "They were wealthy." Past tense. The Morrison fortune was significantly depleted about 5 years ago due to bad investments by Derek's father. They've been maintaining appearances through creative accounting and strategic debt, but the reality is that they're worth approximately $2.3 million, most of it tied up in property they can't sell without revealing their situation. So Derek's family is broke, relatively speaking. They've been living on credit and reputation for years. I process this information. If they're broke, why would Jessica accuse me of being a gold digger? That's where it gets interesting. I had my team look into Jessica Chin as well. And 3 months ago, Jessica opened a joint bank account with Derek Morrison. The world tilted. What? A joint account, held by Derek Morrison and Jessica Chin, with deposits totaling approximately $47,000 over the past 3 months. Derek and Jessica have a joint bank account. They also have a paper trail of communications going back 18 months. Text messages, emails, hotel reservations. "Miss Okafor, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your fiancé has been having an affair with your best friend." I sat in silence, the phone pressed against my ear, trying to comprehend what I was hearing. Derek and Jessica. For 18 months. While I was planning a wedding, while I was building a future, while I was trusting both of them with my heart, they had been together. The accusation, I said slowly. Jessica accusing me of being a gold digger. A preemptive strike. They knew the wedding would give you access to Morrison family finances, or what they thought were Morrison family finances. They needed to discredit you before you discovered the truth about their relationship and their financial situation. They were planning to take my money. That's our assessment, yes. The prenuptial agreement Derek's family insisted on, we had our lawyers review it. It was designed to give him access to your personal assets while protecting the Morrison fortune that doesn't actually exist. So I was the gold digger's target, not the other way around. Exactly. I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound that echoed through my empty car. "What do you want me to do?" my father asked. "What can you do?" The Morrison family has multiple accounts with various institutions that fall under our firm's oversight. I can't directly freeze their accounts. That would be illegal. But I can flag them for review. I can ensure that any suspicious activity is investigated. I can make their lives very uncomfortable while remaining entirely within legal bounds. Do it. With pleasure. I hung up the phone and stared at the Ashford estate. Inside, Derek was probably celebrating. Probably telling his family that they had dodged a bullet. Probably already planning his next move with Jessica. He had no idea that the bullet was still in flight, and it was heading directly for him. I waited another 30 minutes before going back inside. The ballroom was mostly empty now, only Derek, his immediate family, and Jessica remained. They were clustered near the altar where I was supposed to have taken my vows, speaking in low voices that went silent when they saw me enter. "Vivian." Derek looked genuinely surprised. "I thought you left." "I did. Now I'm back." "Why?" "Because I forgot to tell you something." I walked toward them slowly, enjoying the way they shifted uncomfortably. "You didn't need to come back," Eleanor said, her voice dripping with disdain. "The wedding is canceled. There's nothing more to discuss." "Oh, there's plenty to discuss. Like why Derek has a joint bank account with Jessica." The silence that followed was deafening. Derek's face went pale. Jessica's went red. Eleanor looked between them with dawning horror. That's a business account," Derek stammered. "For an investment project, An investment project that includes hotel reservations, text messages, 18 months of secret communications. You went through I didn't go through anything. My family's firm conducted a routine financial review. Amazing what shows up when you actually look at the numbers. I turned to face Jessica. You called me a gold digger in front of everyone. You destroyed my reputation. You tried to steal my future. And the whole time, you were sleeping with my fiancé. Jessica's composure cracked. Vivian, I can explain, can you? Can you explain why you would betray the person who trusted you most? Can you explain why you would help him steal from me? Steal? We weren't. The prenup. The one Derek's family insisted on. It was designed to give him access to my assets while protecting Morrison assets that don't actually exist. I turned to Eleanor. Your family is broke. Has been for years. You've been maintaining appearances with debt and reputation, waiting for Derek to marry someone with real money. Eleanor's face went gray. That's not it is. I have the financial records. I know exactly what the Morrison fortune is worth, and it's about 2% of what you've been claiming. Derek stepped forward, his expression shifting from guilt to anger. So what? You think this changes anything? You're still the one who what? Who almost married a man who was planning to steal from her? Who trusted a friend who was sleeping with her fiancé? Who has the resources to make your lives very, very uncomfortable? You can't do anything to us. Can't I? I smiled. Your family's accounts have been flagged for review. Every suspicious transaction for the past 5 years is being examined. Every creative accounting trick you've used to maintain your lifestyle is being documented. That's illegal. It's entirely legal. My family's firm has oversight responsibilities for multiple financial institutions. We're simply fulfilling those responsibilities with unusual thoroughness. Derek's phone buzzed. He looked at it. His face went white. What is it? Eleanor asked. The bank. They're freezing my accounts pending an investigation. What? They can't do that. Apparently they can. Something about suspicious activity patterns flagged by an oversight review. I smiled. Funny how that works. Derek looked at me with something new in his eyes, not just anger, but fear. You did this. I protected myself. There's a difference. I'll sue you. You'll what? Sue the daughter of one of the most powerful families in the Southeast? With what money? With what lawyers? The Morrison name doesn't carry the weight it used to, Derek. And after tonight, it won't carry any weight at all. I turned to walk away. You're going to regret this, Jessica called after me, her voice shaky. I paused at the door. No, I'm going to forget you. Both of you. You're going to spend the rest of your lives dealing with the consequences of what you tried to do to me. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to build a life with people who actually deserve my trust. You can't just, I can. And I am. I walked out of that ballroom for the second time that night. But this time, I walked out victorious. The investigation took 4 months. The financial irregularities my father's firm flagged led to a broader examination of the Morrison family's finances. What they found was a pattern of fraud, misrepresentation, and borderline criminal activity stretching back years. Derek's father, Richard Morrison, had been lying to investors, falsifying returns, and using new money to pay old debts in a scheme that bordered on Ponzi territory. When the SEC got involved, the house of cards collapsed entirely. Richard Morrison was charged with securities fraud and sentenced to 7 years. Eleanor Morrison, who had been complicit in maintaining the false facade, received 3 years for conspiracy and obstruction. Derek Morrison cooperated with investigators in exchange for immunity from prosecution, but his reputation was destroyed. No law firm would touch him. No society family would associate with him. He became a pariah in the very circles he had been raised to dominate. And Jessica Chin? Jessica had been receiving payments from Derek for over a year, consulting fees that were actually hush money to keep their affair secret and reward her loyalty. When those payments were traced as part of the investigation, she was charged as an accessory to fraud. She received 18 months. I attended none of the trials. I had moved on. My mother came to visit 6 months after the final sentencing. She walked through my new apartment, a place I had chosen myself, decorated myself, filled with things that reflected who I actually was rather than who I was pretending to be for Derek's family. "This is beautiful," she said. "This is you. Finally. How are you feeling?" "Better than I expected. I thought I would be angrier. More bitter. But mostly I just feel free." Free from Derek? Free from the version of myself I was becoming with him. I was always performing, always trying to fit into his family's expectations, always pretending to be less than I was so they wouldn't feel threatened. You shouldn't have to diminish yourself for anyone. I know that now. My mother sat beside me on the couch. "Your father wanted me to tell you something." "What?" "He said that when you called him from the parking lot, asking for the financial audit, he was prouder of you than he'd ever been. Because I figured out what Derek was doing? Because you trusted your instincts. You knew something was wrong, even when everyone was telling you that you were the problem. You didn't crumble. You didn't beg. You investigated." I was so angry. Anger can be useful when it drives you to seek the truth rather than seek revenge. I thought about that. I did seek revenge, though. I destroyed his family. You exposed criminals. There's a difference. Derek's family was stealing from people, not just you, but investors who trusted them. You didn't destroy them. You revealed what was already rotten. It still feels like revenge sometimes. Maybe. But Jessica stood up in front of 200 people and called you a gold digger. Derek believed her without question. They were planning to steal from you while making you look like the villain. A little revenge seems appropriate. I smiled. "I love you, Mom. I love you too, baby. And I'm proud of the woman you've become." We sat together in comfortable silence. "What happens now?" she asked eventually. "Now I live my life. I run the foundation. I build something meaningful with my time and my resources. And love? Relationships. Someday. When I find someone who loves me for me, not for my money, not for my connections, not for what I can give them. Someone who would love me even if I had nothing. That person exists. I know. I just need to be patient. And careful. And careful." My mother squeezed my hand. "Your father and I love you. Whatever you need, whenever you need it, we're here." "I know, Mom." That's what got me through this. The sun was setting outside my window, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose. I had walked into that rehearsal expecting to marry the love of my life. I had walked out knowing that the love was a lie, the life was a trap, and the people I trusted most had been planning to destroy me. But I had also walked out with something more valuable than any wedding could have given me. I walked out with the truth. And the truth had set me free. A year after everything ended, I ran into Derek at a coffee shop. He looked different, older, thinner, with shadows under his eyes that hadn't been there before. The confident, charming man I had fallen in love with was gone, replaced by someone who looked like he hadn't slept well in months. "Vivian." "Derek." We stood in awkward silence. "I heard you're running your family's foundation now," he said finally. "Doing good work." "I'm trying." That's good. You always wanted to do something meaningful." "I did." More silence. "I'm sorry," he said. "For everything. For believing Jessica. For the prenup. For all of it." I studied his face, looking for the calculation I had learned to recognize too late. I didn't see it. I just saw a broken man. "I believe you're sorry," I said. "I just don't care anymore." "That's fair. What are you doing now?" "Working for a small firm in Raleigh. Entry level. Nobody there knows about. Everything." "That sounds like a fresh start." "It is. Or it's trying to be." I nodded. "Good luck, Derek." "You too, Vivian." I walked out of the coffee shop without looking back. I didn't hate him anymore. I didn't love him either. I just felt nothing. And nothing, I had learned, was the best possible outcome. Because nothing meant I was finally, completely free. If this story resonates with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and whether you've ever had someone you trusted turn out to be someone else entirely. Like and subscribe for more stories about betrayal, resilience, and the power of knowing your own worth. She's only marrying him for money. That's what my best friend said at my wedding rehearsal. Everyone turned on me, including my fiancé. I didn't defend myself. I just said, "You're right. Let's cancel." Then I called my father. Derek Morrison. Full financial audit. 1 hour. What he found changed everything. Derek's family wasn't wealthy, they were broke. The prenup was designed to steal MY assets. And my best friend? She'd been sleeping with my fiancé for 18 months. They weren't protecting themselves from a gold digger. They were the gold diggers. An hour after the rehearsal, Derek texted me. Why is the bank freezing my accounts? Because my family's firm flagged his suspicious activity. His father got 7 years. His mother got 3. Jessica got 18 months. Derek got immunity and a destroyed reputation. She's only marrying him for money. No, he was only marrying me for money. And now he has none.